Hey, this is Steve Keys here with Keller Williams Capital District. We're here with another episode of Hey, How's the Market? This week we are doing Washington County. This is the week of December 23rd to December 29th of 2023. All right, so this will be the last weekly review for the year. Next week we'll have a monthly review, and then we'll be starting the new year. So this is the week of Christmas. So with that, we are seeing numbers down pretty much across all counties. Saratoga County seemed to get hit particularly hard. These are some of the lowest numbers that we've seen in Saratoga County. So this week I'm going to do something a little bit different just because the numbers are so low. There's really not much there to talk about. I think the graphs are a little bit more interesting, so that's where I'm going to spend more of my time. So I'll just flip through some of these real quick. If you like looking at these numbers, you're probably going to have to pause it. Total active inventory in the county was 210 properties for the week. We had 14 properties go under contract this week and 14 properties close. $200,000 to $300,000 was your best chance of selling, with 5 properties under contract at just over 11% chance. $400,000 to $600,000 was your second best chance of selling, with a 10% chance with 4 properties. Shenendehowa was the highest chance of selling school district at just over 13%, and Corinth was second highest chance of selling at 10%. Those are the only 2 school districts that even cracked double digits when it came to chance of selling. So, highest sale in the county was $740,000 in Saratoga Springs School District. All right, now for the charts, I'm going to start here with the average days on market. So we've been seeing this for a while, so it's not like anything has really significantly changed, but this last week has just been so drastic. I think it just finally shot this idea in my brain. So we've been seeing days on market for pretty much for most of the categories going up. So the active, we've been seeing that go up for a while. That's pretty stable. Pending, we have been seeing going in a little bit more of an upward trajectory. These last 2 weeks, though, have really kind of taken off. We were at 60 for this week for average days on market, which is about double where we were here at a high point. I mean, last week we were at 40. That was pretty high, but now we're at 60. So this is a significant jump from where we were before. If we look at average price is still pretty stable. Now, for the pending price is kind of where I'm concerned at right now. A lot of these dots have really been hanging close to each other. That's a pretty stable thing. Here is this week that we just had here. So this is low. If we kind of ignore this one and we look at the most recent trend for these past 5 weeks, we were kind of climbing back up a little bit. So this is not going to continue. It was not going to keep going up like this, but it was going to bring us back up a little bit. It could have brought up our linear trend a little had we not had this last week. So, but again, this is Christmas, so I think this week might be an outlier. So we may be seeing a little bit of a bounce back in the pending price, maybe just to get us flat instead of heading in a downward direction. So I just wanted to point out the price just to show that things are stable. And what we're seeing here is days on market for the pending properties has really just kind of taken off. Now, this is kind of self-explanatory, so you're going to go, well, duh, yes, I understand what that means. So what this is telling you is that properties that have been on the market for a longer period of time are starting to sell. So this is saying that on average, the properties that went under contract this week have been on the market for, on average, 2 months. Now, naturally, there's going to be some properties in there that went under contract in 7 days, which means that we certainly have properties that went under contract after 3 or 4 months. What this is really telling us is that properties that had been sitting on the market with no buyers being interested in them for whatever reason, either the property wasn't really desirable or it was overpriced, those properties are starting to sell. And if we were to guess as to why, I think it would be logical to assume that it's because buyers don't have any other options. Now, this kind of ties back to the thing that I've mentioned a few times during this, is that quote that I've kind of heard, some of you have kind of heard, I know other agents kind of say this: you stand a better chance of selling your home over the winter because there's less competition, because buyers are more serious, and so you just stand a better chance. Now, when we look at the numbers and we just look at, hey, this is how many properties were on the market. We had 210 properties active, only 14 properties sold, and that gave us like a 6% chance of selling, which is probably the worst it's ever been in Saratoga. So when you look at that, you say, no, you very much don't stand a better chance of selling your home over the winter. It is obviously much worse. But if you look at this, and if you look at how properties that weren't able to sell 2 months ago now are able to sell, now that there's less options out there and buyers are more serious at this time, the buyers on the market who are willing to go look at houses in the cold, they're not messing around. And we're seeing they are actually buying properties. So my point with this is I think there may be some truth to that statement, that you stand a better chance to sell over the winter. I believe that if a person were to decide right now that they wanted to sell their home and it was in good condition and it was priced appropriately, or maybe it wasn't in good condition, but it was at least priced appropriately for that condition, and you were competing with the properties that are on the market right now, which have been on the market for a while already, I think you would stand a very good chance of getting that property under contract quickly, and likely with multiple offers. Because what this is telling me right here is that buyers are still going to buy something, and they're going to settle for what they wouldn't have considered 2 months ago. But because they haven't found anything yet and they still need to buy a home, they're going to buy something. And so, yeah, bottom line, I'm repeating myself again, but I'm trying to wrap this up. I think now might be a pretty good chance, a pretty good time to put your home on the market. Because it's not that there's less competition, but there's less quality competition, I think is what this chart is telling you. All right. That's it. I'm wrapping up. So that has been this week's episode. Thank you for joining me. And please tune in again next week as we answer the question, hey, how's the market? Bye-bye for now.